following is a presentation of TFNN. The Power Trading Hour with your host, David White. Call now, toll free at 1-877-927-6648. Internationally at 727-445-1044. Now, David White.
And welcome all to another exciting edition of the Power Trading Hour with me, your humble but lovable and squeezably soft host. Once more, do we go into the breach, dear friends? So we start off this show almost every day at this time.
The following takes place between 2 p.m. and 3 p.m.
Yep, they didn't have anything for me today. We're hovering around the low of days in the S&P cash. That's 24.25 on the S&P cash. Got down to 24.24 and 18 cents. I think support probably come in about 24.21 today. A lot of people probably on the wrong side of this market. A lot of margin. And a lot of stocks look like they gave some fairly long-term signs of reversals. We started talking about those yesterday, a lot of 52-week highs. We'll go through the NASDAQ 100 today fairly quickly because that seems to be the sector that's moving the most, kind of in the tech sector out here. So we'll go through those, as many of those stocks as we can. But just down, volume's pretty good. We're at 2.1 billion shares as we start the day. They tried to run the market up this morning after a pullback and down turned to, what was that, about 24.33 or something. Anyway, we broke through that, about an hour ago, and that's been it. Market has been giving signals all over the place that something is wrong. And we don't know what yet, but from the TLT busting out and then coming back in, from the dollar getting whacked around, from gold able to do absolutely nothing. It's 12.48. We've got oil up 78 cents, but I don't know if that's a whole lot. The dollar index looks like this thing has been gut shot down to 96.18. Got to give a nod of the hat, tip of the hat. What? Nod of the head, tip of the hat to Tom O'Brien for saying that the dollar was headed lower. I couldn't figure out how and the reason why it was. I still don't understand why it's headed down. I don't subscribe to the reasons that others come out here. I actually thought it was going to head back up to 100. But there's something really wrong that no one gets apparently in this market. And maybe it's as simple as margin. Maybe it's simple as a handful of other things. But there's a lot of moving parts out here, and it just seems like somebody learning to drive a stick shift and keep shoving it into gear without using the clutch. Just that grinding sound. And you know something's wrong. You know they don't know what they're doing. But they don't want to ask you, and they're not going to tell you either. Maybe the clutch is broke. Maybe it's not. Maybe nobody even knows what I'm talking about, knows how to drive a stick anymore. But, a lot of weird stuff, and the dollar just keeps falling down here at 96.18. So what do we have? Well, we're out here at the day lows. To me, the signal was all about those highs being reversed. We started and said we were looking for them starting last Wednesday. Didn't get anything. Thought maybe they'd happen on Friday, and they didn't. But by 10:30 to yesterday morning, I was typing as feverishly as I could to get the update out and start shorting at will everything we could find. And again, we had some of the stocks start to move yesterday. The rest of them in just the last hour have really started to go this way. And you've got one other thing going on, and that is you've got an IPO on Thursday, maybe Friday. And So we're probably going to get a bounce between now and Friday. I suspect that we're going to probably have the low of the week come in maybe within 24 hours. And that does not mean we're going to bounce a great deal. It only means that we're probably going to go up on light volume into the weekend, which would be one of the most bearish things that we could have, because we're going to have light volume probably starting 10 o'clock Thursday morning, and it's just going to decrease into nothing on Friday evening. I'm thinking that I'll be exiting my shorts probably in the next 24 to 36 hours, something. This could be 36. Could be 36 hours, I guess. Somewhere in that day, next trading day to next trading day and a half. Probably going to put in that low, set it for the IPO. They'll probably prop the market up, but there is just no appetite for stocks at higher prices right now. Can they go out there and pump a few more phony stories like CNN? We saw what happened to CNN on pumping phony stories. So what do you think? I don't know. But 24.21 seems to be about where I think this thing is headed today, and we'll see if it holds there. The SMHs, that 84 line was the line in the sand. When it broke, that kind of brings you back down to about the low 81s. I'm not exactly sure how fast we will see that, but we've had way too many people, way too margined out, at least in individual traders and probably hedge funds too. And I think today and tomorrow is the day of reckoning for those people that were hedged out. And they're going to hear that thing that a trader never wants to hear, the old margin call. Anyway, as always, we like to start the day off with a little bit of history.
Then it's all just a little bit of history repeating.
And on this day in 1956, it's not 1956, it's 1950. Who did this? I'm going to have to talk to my producers, get them to start doing it correctly. Not that they did this one. I'm fault at this one, but it'd be nice to be able to blame them. 1950, President Harry Truman announces that he is ordering the U.S. air and naval forces to South Korea to aid in the democratic nation in repulsing an invasion by communist North Korea. The United States was undertaking the military operation. He explained to enforce a United Nations resolution calling for an end to hostilities and stem from the spread of communism in Asia. In addition to the ordering of U.S. forces to Korea, Truman also deployed the 7th Fleet to Formosa, also known as Taiwan today, to guard against the invasion by communist China and ordered an acceleration of military aid to French forces fighting communists in Vietnam. Of course, by the time this is over and an armistice is signed in 1953, almost 1 million North Korean individuals are dead, including, because it's hard to figure out, the Chinese too, of which about 500,000 of those died freezing to death in the godforsaken northern part of North Korea. I had an uncle that I never met who died in North Korea, or not in North Korea, in Korea, I guess during the war. He may have been in North Korea, depending on where the line is. We'll finish that thought up, and then we'll get right into charts as we plunge into lower levels. 24.24.
TFNN is excited about our new software charting program, The Art of Timing the Trade Charts. In collaboration with Tom O'Brien and using his best-selling book, The Art of Timing the Trade, Your Ultimate Trading Mastery System, David White has programmed an outstanding piece of software that will complement any trader's methodology. Using this first-of-its-kind program, The Art of Timing the Trade Charts allows you to scan thousands of stocks for Fibonacci formation setups, including Gartley's, ABC's, butterflies, and much more. The Art of Timing the Trade Charts is designed to help you when scouring the markets for stocks just beginning to form the trading patterns that many investors spend days, weeks, or even months searching to find. And right now, we're offering licenses available at only $79 a month. We are so confident that you're going to love this new charting software software that will even give you a 30-day unconditional money-back guarantee. Don't miss out on this incredible new piece of software. Get your copy of The Art of Timing the Trade Charts today by visiting TFNN.com.
Tiger TV is an exciting way to experience TFNN programming. See high-definition video, giving you crystal clear charts, as well as seeing some of the faces of TFNN's highly acclaimed financial experts with crisp, full-fidelity sound. Catch Tom O'Brien, John Logan, Steve Rhodes, Basil Chapman, Larry Pesavento, Think or Swim, David White, Andy Hecht, and Daryl Martin in crystal clear, high-definition audio and video. Tiger TV, exclusively at TFNN.com. Platinum, grains, crude oil, gold, copper, cattle, hogs, gasoline, natural gas, coffee, cotton, cocoa, and sugar. These are just some of the commodities mentioned in the most recent issue of Andy Hecht's Techno-Mental Commodity Report. Andy publishes his weekly newsletter every Thursday morning, where he breaks down the commodity market and provides his subscribers with specific trading recommendations based on his trading methodology. By signing up for a free trial to the Techno-Mental Commodity Report, you'll get a full 30 days to try out this powerful newsletter service and see for yourself the types of trades Andy has recommended for his subscribers. When you sign up for a 30-day free trial, you're under no obligation to pay anything. And should you decide to continue, you will lock in the low rate of only $79 a month. Sign up right now for the Techno-Mental Commodity Report and make sure you're ready to catch the next big trade in commodities. For more information and to get started today, visit the front page of TFNN.com. Many of our new listeners have heard about the Tiger's Den, but wondered, what exactly is it? The Tiger's Den is a lively community where professional traders and investors can meet, exchange ideas and information in a comfortable, moderated atmosphere. Hear all of your favorite TFNN shows, plus see all the charts as they happen live during those shows and have access to all those charts. You can test drive the Tiger's Den absolutely free for 30 days. It will greatly enrich your knowledge of these markets. Details on the Tiger's Den are on the front page of TFNN.com. Dave takes your phone calls now. Toll free at 1-877-927-6648. Internationally at 727-445-1044.
And what do we have? Oh, just talking about it. Anyway, I had an uncle that went to Korea. He didn't come back. Didn't die in combat, though. Got drunk, fell off a water tower. I never met him. He died, 8 years before I was born. But died in Korea. Always makes a good story. What do we got going on out here? Let's get to some of these charts. I want to just go through some of these NASDAQ stocks as quickly as I could and see what we have. American Airlines, a little hammer out here today. Apple, man, they tried to push this. It wanted to go down yesterday. Someone stepped in and kept this thing up through the end of yesterday, but it looked horrible trading through all the rest of it. It certainly looked like it wanted to go to below 144 to me, kind of in that range today. So there was a little bit. Adobe, I think we talked about this one trying to break out to higher highs. Did so, but couldn't ever really hold that higher highs. It's back into it. This gap up on the 21st had 8.3 million shares. Down today on just 1.5 million shares, so no volume yet. If you're new to the show, I've talked about it before. When you're at bottoms and when you're at tops, do not be surprised if you don't get any volume in the first couple of days. If we go back to, like the S&P, I want to think it was 786. I think that's where it was moving from back in 2003 or 4. I was listening to Tom O'Brien, Tim Ward a lot. Tim Ward had a kind of a theory that off of big lows and big highs, no one is a believer. So you don't get volume the first couple of days. In fact, a lot of times it's just distrusted for a while. So if you have the characteristics of a long-term high or a long-term low, do not be surprised that you have a lot of people that are still predicting the end of the world at the lows and blue skies forever at the highs. They just never get around on it. So you don't get the confirmation for a few more days. And This might be a kind of a good setup out here that if we go down lower next week is where the volume would start to pick up. But a lot of times no one ever believes it. They're becoming fabulously rich, so nothing else is going to change it. Markets only go higher, and that's why everybody's brilliant on the way up, and most of these people ride their stocks all the way down. It is the purpose of the market to set the hook so deeply that the fish will never get off the line. Anyway, Adobe, this one's coming down a light volume so far. Again, we're getting upwards of a third of all the volume in the last 5-10 minutes of trading. So do not, I'm going to say, as I said last week, wait until you see the whites of their eyes. I kind of saw that yesterday morning after 10 o'clock. And, I don't think you can say anything other than that, other than I am short and not in stature. Let's take a look at some other ones out here. You can always give me a call at 877-927-6648 if you have any questions. Analog devices, along with these SMHs, are down on lighter volume. About 2 million shares going into 5 million shares for the June 9th high. Again, don't get too excited about no volume just yet. I think you're probably going to see a little bit of a pop on no volume. And then, we get the volume probably Wednesday, probably next week, something like that. Okay, ADI down on light volume, but a nice candle. ADP, little hammer out here. Volume's could rival yesterday's. Autodesk, this one is coming back into its gap up of 10 million shares back on the 19th of May. You got about 1.3 million shares today. There's a double gap at about 96 or 97. I would suspect on any kind of pullback, even if this is a strong stock, that would be the first place you would think about buying it. Akamai, this thing, of course, blew apart, never could even get back up to the beginning of this gap. There is a double gap at about 55. I wouldn't be shorting this thing here. But if it could get back up to 55 on light volume and the market's still in a downturn, that may be interesting. Lexion, isn't it? Lexion Pharmaceuticals. This thing tried to drive back higher. The energy was just a little lighter than the big move down from May 2nd to the low on May 26th. I haven't really liked the IBB. As I said, a lot of these things will head fake after they've been hit. And in my newsletter, I think, did we point this out in the show? I can't remember what I've done in the show and what I've done in the newsletter, the daily newsletter anyway. But I was pointing out how there's these double gaps, and these double gaps look like they love to get hit. But there just wasn't a lot of juice by the time we got to this double gap right at 320, and I thought this was an excellent spot for this thing to go ahead and pull back to. Now, I didn't short this thing. I think you could get one more drive, and we could get into those 3x3 patterns that I've been talking about for about 2 weeks. Today should probably put the nail in the coffin in a lot of these stocks. So when we talk tomorrow, I'll try to have a lot of those 3x3s where we have confirmation. That also means that you can have a little bit drive higher for a couple of days and not much of a bounce. But at that point, then you start to see a lot of these things fall apart. We talked about it. In fact, let's go and look at it real quick. We talked about it happening in Apple first. Now, they kind of held this up a little bit longer. But it was a fairly good example of what happens when you break below the 3x3. They were just able to hold this thing up for about 4 or 5 days. It really didn't go very far. But then, boom, finally it happens. And you've got almost the second part of that happening yet again, i.e. it's closing back below the 3x3. I suspect that this is headed down to the 122 level where this double gap comes in going back to the 1st of February. It may take the rest of the summer to get there, but looks interesting. AMAT, take a look at that. Well, you can also email me at path@tfnn.com. Okay. Wayne from Dallas wants to know about Hertz. I got a rental car and it ran over my foot, and that hurts. Okay. I hear the boos from here. Not a fan of it. Don't really see anything that's changed in this business. I don't think that the Apple thing has anything to do with their long-term prosperity. So I don't know. I'm not really bullish on anything, whether it be gold or anything else either right now. Has it bounced? Yeah. I'd really need $8.52 on very light volume to get excited about this. You still need a retest. I don't see anything that changes on that. So not something I'd be playing out here, especially some of the worst and most beaten up stocks tend to get the most beaten up on pullbacks as we're seeing today. It hasn't hit a lot yet. We're bounced a little to 24.27. Amgen, this is still above its 3x3, but did come into this gap and fill about half of it. So this is actually looking fairly good. Did we look at the IBB? Yeah, we did. I think the IBB was a head fake, and that may have been that 320 may have been the place to pull the trigger, but you may get yet another chance. We'll be back in a minute.
The Path of Least Resistance is David White's daily trading newsletter, and if you're looking for active trading ideas, then now's a perfect time for a 30-day free trial to this powerful daily trading advisory service. David uses his years of trading experience to offer his subscribers his trading ideas each morning in his Path of Least Resistance newsletter. Using a combination of equity trades along with options, David keeps his subscribers up to date with all pertinent market information with intraday afternoon updates when warranted. Don't miss out on this great chance to get a 30-day free trial to David's daily newsletter, The Path of Least Resistance, with no obligation to pay anything. David has been delivering solid recommendations for his subscribers recently, and if you'd like to see the type of newsletter he delivers every morning, then visit the front page of TFNN and you'll find The Path of Least Resistance under Trading Newsletters. For all the details and to start your 30-day free trial today, log on to TFNN.com now. Will the S&P 500 continue to climb? For bold trades on U.S. large-cap stocks in either direction, trade SPXL, SPUU, or SPXS. Directions Daily S&P 500 Bull and Bear Leveraged ETFs. Direction Leveraged ETFs. An investor should carefully consider a fund's investment objective, risks, charges, and expenses before investing. A fund's prospectus and summary prospectus contain this and other information about Direction shares. To obtain a fund's prospectus and summary prospectus, call 866-476-7523 or visit directioninvestments.com. A fund's prospectus and summary prospectus should be read carefully before investing. An investment in the funds is subject to risk, including the possible loss of principal. The funds are designed to be utilized only by sophisticated investors such as traders and active investors. Distributor Foreside Fund Services, LLC. Has the current market volatility continued to stop you out of trades when the market spikes against you? Now is the perfect time to open up an account with Nadex. Nadex, the North American Derivatives Exchange, is a brand new, completely regulated Chicago-based exchange, and unlike most other exchanges, Nadex allows you to trade directly through them with direct market access when using their completely free trading platform, which also features real-time charts and full customization capability. One of the advantages of trading with Nadex in volatile markets is that your risk is always capped and you have the ability of keeping your trades open even when the market spikes against you. Nadex is completely brand new with a line of unique trading products that are unavailable anywhere else. See how it works at nadex.com. That's NADEX.com. Or click on the Nadex banner on the front page of TFNN.com. Futures and options trading involves risk and may not be appropriate for all investors.
This segment is brought to you by Think or Swim. For more information, just click the Think or Swim banner on the front page of TFNN.com.
Well, I guess I'm back. Anyway, what else do we have going on here? It took a little longer than I thought. Amgen, as we said, looking at this thing just a little bit above the level, so no crack in this one yet. We'll take a look. We have bounced about 4 or 5 points off the bottom. We're at 24.29 right now. Volume is 2.25 billion shares. But I think the damage is done. We broke that 24.32 area and did so with a lot of volume. So I think that's going to be kind of tough to repair. And of course, a lot of this is on a postponement of the news, or a postponement on a vote on healthcare, which means a postponement on the vote for taxes. And that's what everybody cares about. Anyway, we've been talking about these 3x3 patterns. Well, you've got it in Amazon today. So even though the volume's kind of down and this thing's in a gap, pretty good sell signal. Doesn't mean this thing is going to be the worst hurt, but we didn't even get into it. We'll get into Google here in a minute. But saw that Google got antitrust charges levied against it today for a couple $2 billion. And my guess is this is the first of many. The CFO of Facebook got in a plane yesterday morning racing over to talk to EU officials because they are next on the list. So just if you're thinking of a few of these folks are going to be able to skirt it. But what's going to happen is that a lot of countries are going to start thinking, hey, this is some easy money. This is easy pickings. I'm just going to say that they did the same thing they did in the EU, and we're going to collect a bunch of cash. So right now, anybody with lots of cash, probably in country, because it hasn't come back yet, before it flees their shore, they're going to want to get their beak a little wet. And I think Amazon, probably not the poster child over there. Google and Facebook, probably the biggest, and Apple. But I think you're probably going to see a slew now. In fact, I wrote about this last summer and said that I had a big feeling that this stuff was coming, that they were getting way too chummy with the politicians. And normally, the last thing you want to do is have a politician thinking about you, because then they're going to try to help you. And then a giant bill will come, in a case Google bill today. Take a quick look at that. Okay. So we got a close yesterday below the 3x3 on Google. It fell apart today. So we're getting a lot of these patterns where this thing, for the most part, stayed above the 3x3 in that double repo pattern. We're getting that confirmation today. That's why I suspect we're probably going to act a great deal more like Apple in the coming week. We'll go back and look at that one here just for a second, where you did fail. They kind of kept it up, and then boom, the lights went out. And I don't know what you can say about that. Oh, yeah, I've got that clip.
I've seen better days.
I've seen better days. And the bottom dropped out. Anyway, ATVI. Okay. Nice close under this one. Nice candle. Activision Blizzard. These things have done nothing but go up. They've had their little dance on the catwalk here. They closed under the 3x3 fairly decently, went back higher. The close was below the low yesterday, below the 3x3, just a few pennies, but that's coming back in here today. So again, these things kind of tend to look and work kind of like a contact lens, kind of a big arch out here. There's a guy named Bob Carver on the internet. I don't know whatever happened to the guy. He may be still around. But he called these convex, I think it was convex patterns, where you can just kind of put that on it. You drive a big arch, and the things just kind of bounce around. Don't really look like a pattern until the whole thing's done. But it looks like a lot of these stocks kind of set up that way with some big drops on the other side. Of course, in the smartphone space, we'll take a look at Avago. You got a clear and unambiguous close below the 3x3 today. Again, volume may come in by the end of the day, not a whole lot today. But again, a lot of times when you get these big moves off the top, they start with very little volume. They don't have that huge volume come back in. Okay. What do we got here? Bed Bath and Below blew up a couple days ago. I don't see much else in that one other than this thing. You're probably going to follow the 3x3 displaced moving average on the way down. Baidu, decent close down here. This one actually is a better look at what it could bottom at, which is 173. I'd have to look at taking my cash there if I was already short. BIIB, Biodec, it's going to close below the 3x3, I suspect, today. So that sets up the test of 244.28. BMRN, which is BioMarin Pharma. This tested a previous high of $100.51 on May 5th with 2.4 million shares. You spiked into it a couple of days ago on 1.8 million shares, and you're back below the 3x3 on that one. So on a sell signal, although you can't do much with it right now. Okay. CA, this thing's right at support. If I was wrong on this one, you may want to look at that one. I wouldn't short it. Celgene, another one that's been on this rocket. It may have another day to go before it closes below its 3x3, and this one actually may trail the rest. So if the market does start moving down, some of these laggards may be some low-hanging fruit with the rest of the market coming down. That's the way I'd look at that one. Maybe a short next week is possible on it. Cerner closed below the 3x3 today, so that is on a sell signal, taking you back to 61 on it. CHKP, Checkpoint Software, nice close down here below the 3x3. You pretty much got it, so you're on a sell signal on that one. Charter Communications, CHTR. Let's take a look at this one. It's been headed down for a few days. Don't see a whole lot in that one. Costco, it had already rolled over on Amazon news. It's back down to the previous gap that all these things were looking at, 2nd of February. You hit that with 9.5 million shares a few days ago compared to the 5.8 million shares on that gap up on February 2nd. So you're going to get that 156.56 tested yet again. It's just coming up into that 3x3, which I imagine will carry it on back down. We're going to try to get through as many of these NASDAQ 100 stocks before the end of the day. When we come back, we'll look at Cisco, which blew up on the last earnings. Give me a call, 877-927-6648.
If you're an active trader looking for that extra edge when it comes to trading and investments, then now is a great time to get a 2-week free trial to Tom O'Brien's daily market letter, Market Insights. Tom O'Brien's daily newsletter, Market Insights, comes out every market day at around 9:30 a.m. and provides Tom's daily commentary on the broad market, including the Dow, NASDAQ, and S&P, plus specific trade recommendations. There's even an update published most afternoons to keep you informed about the day's market activity. He'll give you the entry price, price target, and stop price of each stock and option trade. With Market Insights, there's nothing left to guessing. For all the details and to get your 2-week free trial to Market Insights started today, visit TFNN.com.
Today, it's hard to tell if the economy is coming or going. Regardless, I want my money going in the direction I choose. If that's your stance as well, then you want to know how Everbank can help keep your money thriving just the way you want. Is growing your money a priority? Everbank is committed to a yield pledge promise to pay high yields on your checking, money market, and CD balances. Looking to diversify? Everbank ingeniously developed accessible ways to spread your money around the world into foreign currencies and even non-FDIC insured metals. And when it comes to your wealth, they bring a highly experienced and global perspective to help you manage it. Everbank's financial philosophy flies in the face of the status quo. They believe your money's performance should not be determined by today's economic circumstances, but by the drive to rise above them and create opportunities that favor your objectives. If that excites you like it does me, visit everbank.com/TFNN to find out what they can do for you. Again, that's everbank.com/TFNN. Visit them today. Everbank is a member FDIC and equal housing lender.
TFNN is excited to offer a brand new piece of market scanning software unlike anything the industry has ever seen. John Logan and his team have spent years developing their market profile tools to finally be able to release the TAS Profile Scanner Plus. And right now you can get a 2-week trial absolutely free just by visiting TFNN.com and providing us your name and email address. The TAS Profile Scanner Plus is the premier market profile based scanner in the industry. Powered by the acclaimed TAS proprietary algorithms, this feature-rich scanner is a standalone desktop software that instantly filters over 2,500 global financial markets such as stocks, ETFs, commodity futures, and Forex. Within 3 minutes of signing up, you can have the software downloaded and running on your computer with a complete roadmap of market indicators and inflection points to trade off using the TAS Profile Scanner Plus. Sign up today and try this amazing piece of software by visiting TFNN.com.
This segment is brought to you by TFNN. Test drive all the newsletters for free at TFNN.com.
And we're back. We'll continue keeping an eye on this. You got a lot of stocks out here making some very ugly patterns. Cisco, this one looks like it wants to come down and test this $30.37 May 18th low that had 85 million shares when it blew up on earnings. CSX Corporation, this one's still above. Be interesting. CTRP on this one. Okay, we got to close on this one. This one, first stop is $51. Second one is $48. You going to get any kind of volume? I don't see much out here. It does look interesting, though. Not a lot of volume anywhere. This one may be an interesting one if crude continues to hold up. Right now, it's up 89 cents. Gold up $3.70. What's nat gas doing? Up a penny. Okay, so what else do we have? CTSH. Cognizant Technologies going to get its close below. So you got a sell signal on the 3x3 displaced sell signal. That's a Joe DiNapoli thing. Citrix, this thing's just bouncing all over the place. I don't see anything other than that. It is closing below today, though, but it's kind of a wild pattern. Dish Networks, what are we going to get on this one? No close on it below, so no signal yet. Dollar Tree, and this looks like it's going to bounce and then come back down 65.63. Electronic Arts, this one's off fairly hard. There's a nice gap this guy needs to fill. You've had a sell signal for a couple of days on EA. It's one of the stronger stocks. I don't think I want to short it, but if you're thinking about buying maybe at the end of the summer, low 95s, maybe 96, 97. See how this thing comes back down there and see how its schedule is set up for products for this fall. eBay, it's going to close below today, so you're going to get the final signal on that one. Volume is not all that exciting. ESRX, and again, a lot of these stocks broke below this today. And let's take a look at this one. And what I'm thinking is you're going to, like Expedia, going to close below the 3x3. You can, a lot of these things still could kind of go up and stay below it, like Expedia. My guess is these things are going to kind of come up there and find resistance. In this case, on Expedia, maybe in the next couple of days, it'll get up to 151 or so. And then you're going to watch very closely for a possible short on that one. Hopefully, it stays up till next week. And I can add to my short positions. Fastenal, which is a company that makes nuts and bolts. You don't want to see this one down at lows. Actually looking fairly decent. One of the only decent stocks I've seen acting correctly today into a 7 million share low from June 6, $41.87. We within a dime of that with 1.33 million shares. So that one actually may look good if all the shovel-ready jobs ever come to pass. Fake book. We told you already earlier in the day that the CFO had gotten in on a plane yesterday screaming over to the EU to pledge her case on why they shouldn't get the same treatment that Google got today. One of the reasons why I think you are seeing this giant pit of despair for tech today, and that is the thought that these FANGs are going to give up a lot of their cash overseas to fines and levies from a lot of things. Down today on 13 million shares, not so much. But again, I could probably find better shorts out here, but do not be surprised to see this thing back up maybe to 150, 250 or 152. Come back maybe Wednesday, we start seeing some trading. These things dip back down below. Now on this one, we've talked about for a while that I thought it was coming back to 143. As I said, a lot better shorts out there than that one at the present time. A lot of stocks that could pull back. FISV, FISV, good close yesterday below the 3x3. Nice pop down today. Not a lot of volume. As I said, I think these things will probably have an opportunity maybe Thursday and Friday to maybe bounce a little. I think tomorrow is yet another day down. And then we're going to kind of pull back up into those and set the hook for the weekend. 24.28 on the S&P cash. We're off 10 points. Volume continues to be strong at 2.4 billion shares. Normally at this time, a little better than most times. Fox, 20th Century Fox, it's a little bit above. Their ratings I see were picking up over the last couple of weeks, so they may do a little bit better than other ones. Gilead, this one did bounce off the bottom. My guess is you're looking for a retest of 63.76 to buy that if you were thinking long. I don't see a short position in it now. Illumina Pharma, Illumina DNA, you're going to get closed below it on the 3x3. You've got a gap at 160 and then 155. I kind of think that 155 is the area that you'd want to look at that on a pullback. INCY, which is Insight, this one's going to probably get fairly close to a pullback signal today. A close a little lower is all you need. Anyway, about 110 on this one. There's a nice gap. Let's go to a little larger thing out here. This gap at 110 goes back to the 9th of January on 3 million shares. And this thing just looks like it wants to come back down there and bounce off that 110, 112 level once again. Intel, inside, down a little bit. Volume's okay compared to yesterday. You might get, depending on how strong the volume comes in at the end of the day, it'll depend a lot on what you've got here. 32.89 is the buy on that one. Intuit, well, we'll get around to it with Intuit. Okay, this one's down with, it's going to be decent volume today. You'd want this thing to come down to 132 if you were bullish and fill a lot of this gap. You've actually got two gaps out here that are big. You could get one more gap in this thing and then short the daylights out of it. Intuitive Surgical, this thing has been on a roller coaster. Huge sell signal out here today. No volume yet, but my guess is this thing, look into it next week for the rollover. As long as it stays below that 3x3, your sell signal is valid. JD.com, a lot of these Chinese internet companies were down 2% at the open this morning before the market started to get rather exciting. Nice double gap right at at $37. I imagine that's the target on that one. Volume's okay on that. Continues like that's going to be actually fairly decent, good volume on the way down. The Kraft Heinz Company and their ketchup, going back to this gap down at about 86.50. Not a lot of juice, but looks like that one may be a buy after the market comes down if people start fleeing to safety. Lamb Research, another clip down out here. You have two gaps, one at 142. The one I'm looking at is going to be at the 130 level. And I think you could pretty easily see this one, these biotechs roll. At 132 is probably the target. We'll be back, try to get in the rest of these NDX 100 stocks at the end of the day. Probably won't get there, but we'll try.
Tom O'Brien's weekly gold letter, The Gold Report, gives complete and concise coverage of the entire gold market. Inside, you'll get Tom's commentary on gold, the dollar, the rand, the bond, the XAU, the HUI, and detailed coverage of nearly 25 mining stocks. He'll give you the entry price, price target, and stop price of each stock trade. The Gold Report is a long-term newsletter where the focus is on building real wealth through the management of a successful portfolio of gold stocks. With a lifetime of knowledge and almost 12 years of writing his informative weekly newsletter, The Gold Report, Tom O'Brien can provide you with the important market information to help you make better trades in the gold market. Don't let the next bull run in gold pass you by. To get a month-long free trial to The Gold Report, an $85 value, visit the front page of TFNN.com today.
David White's newsletter, The Technology Insider, is focused like a laser on finding the next big things in technology. If you had invested only $10,000 in Microsoft in 1986, you'd have been a millionaire by 2000. Disruptive technology like Microsoft's is the key to these massive long-term profits, and the Tech Insider is the vehicle from TFNN to capitalize on these opportunities. This is the go-to newsletter that identifies, monitors, and profits on mostly little-known cutting-edge companies with great long-term prospects. David's experience is as an inventor of Emmy-winning animation products for TV and Hollywood that propelled a company public. Match that with 14 years as a full-time trader, and he's uniquely qualified to guide you through the light-speed world of ever-evolving high-tech. If you're ready to ride the next big technology bull market for less than $40 per month, log on to TFNN.com and get your 2-week free trial to the Technology Insider. Get in on the ground floor of the next big thing today.
Hi, I'm Steve Rhodes, host of the Trader's Edge, heard daily at TFNN.com and author of Mastering Probability, a daily investment and trading newsletter service that I send out each morning by 8 a.m. My morning newsletter service covers exactly what the markets have been doing since last night's close, providing you with an edge on your trading day ahead. You get actionable trading ideas, including the exact entry, stop, and profit targets. Plus, I'll teach you the patterns and hidden market correlations that will make you a better trader. As a subscriber, you'll gain access to my 90-minute money management workshop, where I'll teach you the secrets that'll save your assets. The bottom line, I've got your back, including a 30-day money-back guarantee. See for yourself the type of analysis I provide each trading day by signing up for Mastering Probability today. With nothing to lose, this is an offer you should not pass on. Mastering Probability can be found under Trading Newsletters on the front page of TFNN.com.
Catch Tom O'Brien, professional trader and educator, founder of TFNN. Also, a special guest on CNBC. Tom will bisect and dissect the markets. The Tom O'Brien Show, next on TFNN.
And what else do we have out here? We're looking at this. Take a quick look. Marriott International. Nice clip down on this one. We're trading out here at 24.28. Interesting volume, 2.4. Went quiet for about 10 minutes as we pushed higher. So again, it looks like we're going to go test 24 before the day's out here. See whether those lows can stay in. I suspect that without a close back above 24.33 or so, that's all these sell signals will remain intact. I don't suspect I'm going to see a lot of people running to the aid of the market going into a long weekend. Okay, what do we have here? Marriott down. This thing's got about 97.50 written on it. First level of support. Mattel, this thing's always been headed lower. I don't see anything in this. Little bounce out here on no volume. Let's take a look at Tesla. This was the one that made me think that this market was not going to turn against me today, and that was that this thing had a solid open below the 3x3 and just continued to find sellers throughout the day. Now, again, this thing's 30% short. Can they push it back up? You do want to see this thing kind of hang up here for a while. It may fall, but it's probably going to be 2 weeks before. If the market falls, look for this thing to fall probably a week after the start of the big downturn in the S&Ps. Okay, what else do we have? Microsoft, this thing did turn down today, finally. It does have a decent sell signal. We've talked about this pattern before, which is 10 to 15 days above the 3x3 displaced moving average or the 9-day moving average. A close below it, you get a couple closes, a couple of days where it holds above it, and then it closes decidedly below it. That's what you're getting in Microsoft today. That sets up the return to $66.50. Micron, what else do we have on here? This one's still above it, so you got no signal on Micron. Let's take a look at NVIDIA. That one also got slapped around this morning. That one actually on Friday had the close below the 3x3. That's up a return to 105 on this. And don't know if you can say anything other than that. As I said before, I think there's a lot of competition. These guys were incredibly lucky for a while. But now there's going to be a pack of dogs after them. And they're going to be playing Pac-Man on their rear end. ORLY. Now, this one may be one of the stocks that turns as the market goes lower. This is actually closing above the 3x3 today on fairly light volume. I'd probably want a few more tests. But if the market starts pulling back, look for this to be the strong horse in a down market. Paychecks. Let's take a quick look at Qualcomm. I think I got the last minute out here. Okay. Not much happened in that one. Let's take a look at Starbucks. This has been headed down. It's continued down, so there's nothing new in that one. Skyworks Solution. This is kind of like Apple. Well, you got the close yesterday, and then it falling apart today. So again, a lot of these things go back to my original pattern that I was looking at Apple. It wasn't as clean as you would like to have seen, but it did eventually work out. And I think a lot of these are going to be very messy, but you're going to start seeing a lot of patterns like this. Just kind of went sideways for a few days, and the bottom dropped out. We're going to see you tomorrow. Same bat channel, same bat time. Remember to sell when you can, not when you have.
Larry Pesavento has just started his brand new service, Fibonacci 24/7, and he's already delivering content to his subscribers on a daily basis when the market's opened and even on weekends. Each Monday, you'll receive Larry's written report that provides detailed commentary and a summary on the charts and videos that Larry sends out. And throughout the week, when warranted, Larry will send out via charts or videos or both the key markets that he is watching during the day. This will be up-to-the-date, active trading information that will help you in your daily trading. In Larry's first week alone, he sent out 25 charts, 6 videos, and a full report to his subscribers in just 1 week. If you're a technical trader that uses patterns and retracements to trade, then Larry's service Fibonacci 24/7 is something that you must try. Right now, new subscribers can get a full 30-day money-back guarantee. With nothing to risk, sign up now to Larry Pesavento's Fibonacci 24/7 by visiting the front page of TFNN.com under Trading Newsletters.
You're watching Tiger TV.